Hey guys and gals, and everyone here from Drake Queen Gaming, and something on Twitter, the Gaming Drag. Today I'm coming back at you to the Let's Play episode of Lyre. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump right back into it, shall we? Alarm chain, you were up, and let's go. Alright. He looks down, a sad expression on his face. I've abandoned my vows. Raynor is dead and Adri has killed him. I'll never see my mother or father again, most likely. I'm wanted for treason and murder, so the sooner I leave Lyre, the better. Wherever you go, I'll go. Murder? He takes a deep breath and interlocks his fingers. I wanted to tell you. His voice is shaking. What are you talking about? What happened? I told you how the headsman helped me escape, correct? Yes? He wasn't the only one who I came across down there. He starts rubbing his eyes, trying to dry the tears that are beginning to form. He takes another deep breath and continues. There was a castle guard assisting him. He was going to alert the other guards. Stopping him was the only thing I could think of. I had to save you. I swung my sword into the back of his head, almost decapitating him and killing him instantly. I didn't even know his name. It just happened so fast. I had to act. He doesn't notice that I've gotten up and sat down next to him until I hug him from the side. I can feel his large body trembling as he tries to stifle a sob. Remember when we spoke in the gardens? You said we grew up being taught to feel a certain way about things, yet after a while we become numb to those things, even if it's in our nature. Yes, I remember. My mind shut down as well. The part that scares me, though, is how quickly I was able to get over it. There's something wrong with me. Lyall, you did what you had to do. Raynor tasked you with protecting me, and you strived toward that goal through every obstacle. I never killed someone before. He's now violently shaking and sobbing into his paws. I hated it. But that's the worst part. No matter how much I hated it, I'd do it all over again if it meant protecting you. He leans into me, holding me tight. Because I love you, Luvun. He continues to cry while holding me, and I realize I've never seen him this distraught before. I love you too, Lyall. We sit there in silence for a few minutes, the only sound being the rustling of the tree leaves. I watch as little bugs fly around us, their tails lit up with a blue glow. After a few more minutes of silence, Lyall mumbles something to me. Can I tell you something? Of course. He takes another deep breath and calms down, his voice still trembling. A while back, whenever I had the time in the mornings or in the afternoon, I would go on these long walks up the coast of the fjord. I'd either watch the sunrise over the waters on the horizon or sit behind the castle and the mountains behind it. I took these walks whenever I wanted to think. I'd go very far up the cliffs most of the time so I could see the land around me. No matter how high I went, it always seemed so small. He pulls away from our embrace, resting his elbows on his knees. I enjoyed watching the sunset the most. I'd always look off to the east and dream of being able to travel far beyond those mountains, beyond those snowy forests, the rolling hills and the countryside. He pokes a stick into the fire aimlessly, watching the flames dance around the disturbance he's making. When I was knighted, I thought I had finally achieved everything I had wanted. However, with each day that passed, I considered leaving it all behind, abandoning my vows and running off somewhere far away. I could become a sellsword or work as a hired guard. Then I would be free to do whatever I wanted. I'm glad I never left, because then I would have never met you. You give me purpose. You make me happy. Above all, I want to go everywhere with you. I placed my hand on him and pet him a little, rubbing his back side to side. I want that too. But there was a reason you stayed even before I came here, wasn't there? He taps the stick onto one of the rocks surrounding the fire pit, pieces of burnt wood crumbling away from the tip. Tears stain the fur of his cheeks, his eyes wet and puffy. Of course there was. I had a family here. There was no blood relation, but that didn't matter to me. Raynor was like a father to me. He was interested, dedicated to my training. Not only that, but he would specifically invite me to dine with him and with the other Ossians on more than one occasion. He taught me things that I would never learn without him. Don't laugh. When I was younger, I had difficulty reading and writing. I still do sometimes. The words didn't make much sense to me, and I'd mix them up. My father didn't pay it any mind, not really seeing it as a major issue that needed to be corrected. Raynor did, however. He would sit down with me a few days a week, and we would practice. I never truly got over it, but he helped me a lot. I guess I'm telling you all this because they all meant a lot to me. Even Adrius. He was like a little brother I never had. He tosses the stick into the fire and one of the logs falls, sending sparks into the air. Elena was like a mother for everyone, considering she was the queen, but she and I were fairly close as well. She was good friends with my mother, too. When I was very, very young, I remember Rainer and Elena came up to Radolf Hold to visit. I remember being confused as to who this strange woman was and why my mother acted like she was her sister. It was great. I'm realizing you haven't talked about your parents much. Lord Marcus Reed and Lady Ilve Reed. Yes. What are they like? My father is a fair and honorable man, yet can also be very loud. My mother is stern and bold, yet can also be the kindest woman you've ever met. She made that tartan over there. He points to the cloth sitting on top of his cape. It was actually my swaddling cloth when I was a baby. It's tradition for a Reed to wear it to battle. We do it to honor our parents. I love both of them dearly, and I hope to one day see them again, if I ever get the chance. Do all wolves' eyes turn yellow when they're angry? He bites his lip in embarrassment. It happens with most Lyrian wolves, yes. Specifically the Reeds. Nobody has an explanation for it. Both of my parents had the same thing. I once got my mother so angry her eyes were like gold coins. It scared the piss out of me. Do you think Adrius could turn them against you? Lyall belts out a short guffaw. He couldn't turn them against me no matter what he decides to tell them. Excluding him from the trial due to bias was already a slight against them. It's not like I was the one on trial. Well... He presses a finger to my lip to shush me, which makes my eyes widen. Alright, coffee done. I realize he's trying to be funny, so I let him continue. My parents still love and respect me, even after revealing myself to be homosexual. I'm sure falling in love with a regicidal maniac is just as tolerable, wouldn't you agree? Ugh, good God. Is that how everyone sees me? The way they see it, you killed one king and then punched the next one in the face. After that, you're either crazy or really dedicated to getting a death sentence as fast as possible. The last king deserved that punch. Lyall chuckles to himself, shaking his head. That he did. I wish I'd stuck around to see more. If you did, then we probably wouldn't be standing here. He concedes with a slight huff from his nose. I take it back, then. He rocks back and forth in his seated position, then stands up, brushing off his pants with his paws. Do you think you are well enough to travel in the morning? If I can get some decent food in my stomach again, sure. Where are we going, aside from the destination? Well, we're north of Hailing Cove right now. I'd like to stop there before we head further south, just in case there's anything else we might need. I'm not sure if it's safe for you to be seen there, so I'll probably leave you with Finley. It shouldn't take more than an hour, so we should be fine. After that, we'll keep heading south. There's a river with a fork just before Ardglass. We'll make our way down along the base of the mountains and cross at the area before it forks. I'll need to find a part that's shallow enough for Finley to carry you across, and I don't want to take the main road. He rattles off all those locations and places without stopping to take a breath, and I almost wonder if he has the entire map of Tigran memorized. If anybody did, he would. Once we cross, we'll make our way further south to Galemore Wood. That should give us some cover. How long will it take us to get there? If we continue to travel light and waste no time, it should take us a few weeks at best. He brushes the fur around his neck with his paws while he thinks. You should get some rest. You're gonna need it, and I can't have you sleeping on Finley. If you fell off, I'd be laughing too hard to be able to forgive myself. I've been resting for a week. I don't even feel tired. He nods his head toward the bedroll and sighs. Rest. Even if it's only for a bit. Looking over at the bedroll, I remember how cozy it was. It helps me realize just how chilly I am. Fine. I stand up and carefully step around the campfire, making my way to the bedroll. I sit down on it and look up at Lyall. He's standing on a rock, leaning against the walls of the cliff. I look around and notice that there's no bed for him. Are you going to sleep as well? He looks down at me and gives me a tired smile. I'll be fine. Remember, I don't sleep much. It's you humans who enjoy doing it all the time. Oh, yeah. I guess that's true. Still, where have you been sleeping? He points to a spot next to me, just by the fire. There's a bag propped up against a rock that I assume he was using as a pillow of sorts. Oh. Whenever I was sleeping, it was over there. I imagine him resting by my side, waiting and hoping for me to wake up. He was probably so worried throughout the past week. I wonder how long he would have waited. I'm going to go get some more wood to add to the fire. I don't want you getting cold throughout the night. He jumps down from the rock and heads over to where Finley is hitched. There's plenty of branches lying on the ground over there, so he shouldn't have a problem. Looking around, I noticed that same book that I had seen earlier. Ah, get out of my eye, hair. Ah, 1 second now. Okay. Its pages float gently in the breeze, and I realize there's small drawings on them. Did Lyall bring his sketchbook? That's actually really sweet. I know it's silly, but things like that are the reasons why I like him so much. I pick up the sketchbook and close it to keep everything safe, but when I do, a loose page sticks out to the side. Opening it back up, I pull the drawing out and realize what it is. Aww. It's a portrait of me. My eyes are closed and my hair is long and sprawled out, falling down around my head in thick curls. Do I really look like that with a beard? I run my hand over the rough, prickly surface of my chin. Maybe I should keep it. I look so old. Being in the dungeons might have caused that. I drew that a few days ago. Lyall stands on the other side of the fire pit. I didn't even notice him making his way over. I'm sorry. You look so peaceful and... I'll be sorry. It's very good. He blushes a bit and gives a sheepish smile. Smile. Thank you. I hand him the sketchbook and go lay down on the bedroll. Before I can slip under the top layer, a thought crosses my mind. I want him to lay with me. I want him to hold me in his arms and share this bedroll with me. If he's going to urge me to sleep, then I want him to join me. We can finally have what we didn't get that night. We can claim what was taken from us. Lyall? Yes, Luvun? Would you care to join me in bed? He cocks an eyebrow for a split second and smiles, a light puff of breath releasing from his nose as he snickers to himself. You're in no state for that kind of fun, Luvun. I'm absolutely certain I'd break you in two. Not that! As great as you are in bed, I just want you to sleep by my side. I want you to hold me. Lyall stops laughing and a blush spreads across his face. But what about keeping watch? Someone has to stay. I guess I could just... Okay. He takes in a deep breath. Yes, I suppose we can do that. Naked. Alright. Lyall walks over to one of the bags and begins taking off his shirt. As he does this, I take off my clothes, too. Once I have it pulled over my head, I throw it over in the direction of Lyall's armor. It lands on top of his pauldron in a wad, and I reach down to start unfastening my trousers. Once those are loosened, I lay on my back and stick my legs in the air, pulling each pant down around my ankles. I pull each of my feet out and throw the pants off to the side. I lay back on the bedroll and look over to Lyall. Oh my. He's wearing just his underwear, bent over, stuffing his wadded-up clothes into the rucksack. I mean, nothing's really showing, so I don't have to blur that out. His big tail sways back and forth, resting on top of his ample rear. His underwear leaves little to the imagination. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'd almost forgotten how great your ass is. Ah! And I'd forgotten how forward you can be. I mean it. What did you do to get your legs so big? He bites his lip, then answers. Running. And I mean a lot of running. Also footwork. Really? Oh, yes. Put a sword in a man's hand, you'll find it's his legs that do most of the work. He says this, then slaps his thigh with his right paw. The surface ripples slightly, but I can tell from the firmness that there's plenty of muscle underneath all that fur. I haven't seen him in this light since that fateful night. There's something different, though. Now I'm able to notice all the little details about his body. The way his shoulders are adorned with large tufts of fur, which then run down his back. The slight pudge to his stomach when he's rested. The way his chest rises and falls with each breath he takes, no matter how relaxed. His thighs are wide with muscle, showing off just how strong his legs are. I don't pay attention to his feet often, but with the way they're shaped, I wonder how hard it is to walk on Paws. He doesn't seem to have an issue with it. Like what you see? Very much, yes. Alright, y'all, I'm actually going to pause it right there. Thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. Before I go, I'm going to give a quick shout out to our lovely bronze tier patrons. Thank y'all for all I do for the channel. We greatly appreciate your support. Thank you to our silver tier patron, Cade Silverman. Thank you for going a bit above and beyond. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you to our gold tier patron, Trezum Guy. You're awesome. We love you. Thank you for subbing to Ultimate Tier. Anyway, if y'all want to get your names in the credits, get access to all of our not safe for work contents as little as $5. Alrighty, I love you all, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!